Hey guys, welcome to Trashy Stupid Fun. Before I get started, I just want to show everybody, I don't have a crew at all. People keep asking if I have a crew. There's nobody else here but me. You know, my room's kind of messy, so I'm not going to show everything, but yeah. It's like, yeah. I don't have another crew here. It's just me and my little camera phone. So anyways, yeah, like I said, welcome to Trashy Stupid Fun. Let's see, I finally gave the Friday the 13th movies another chance, and I'm glad I did. I went back and rewatched part 1, and I still kind of feel the same way about it the first time. It was just okay. But then I got to part 2, and it got a little bit more interesting. You know, if you don't know the thing about the series, it's they all take all the movies, at least all the ones I've seen, take place. People are camping, or they come to a rural town, and they all take place at Crystal Lake. And yeah, and they're just all about kids getting killed at camp, basically. But they're all kind of different. They all had to try to do something different to make them interesting. So the first one deals with horny teenagers getting killed at a camp, and just spoiler alert. I'm gonna just spoil the crap out of this. It turns out to be the mother. The killer was the mother of this kind of this child who was kind of deformed looking, and she's out for revenge because they were having sex while her kid drowned, so she killed off all these people. It really had nothing to do with why he got killed, why he drowned, and yeah. Well, I mean, she started it back in the 50s, and then she just continued killing them off when people came there. And then when she got killed at the end of it, Jason, or her son Jason, who's actually alive, saw her get killed, and he's in the next one. He starts killing off people who come to Crystal Lake or whatever. And yeah, so in part 2, that's basically what happens in the. And I'm spoiling everything here. I'm going to spoil a little bit of everything, but the survivor of the first movie gets killed right away in part 2, which is it's kind of bad. I didn't really have an attachment to her. It's just bad when the survivor gets killed. It happened in Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just bad. Anyways, and again, I kind of spoiled that. Even I talked about it before. I talked about the Nightmare movies before. And I'm going to just talk about part 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6. I skipped 5 because I heard it doesn't totally have much to do with Jason, so I didn't watch it. I think I read a little snippet and it had just a teeny bit to do with Jason, but I didn't feel like I missed anything by watching 4 and then 6 and not 5. So I might go back and watch 5, but I don't know. It didn't sound all that interesting. But anyways, in part 2, Jason's here killing people, and I think in this one there were like some really shocking. There was one really shocking, kind of shocking death because it involved a guy in a wheelchair. I think that's part 2. Some of them kind of blend together for me. But I think that's part 2. It was just that felt kind of wrong to kill a guy in a wheelchair. But yeah, but they all basically have the same plot: horny kids getting killed off by a killer. And now part 3 was fun because 1, it was in 3D. And again, I don't know if the survivor of part 2 got killed or not, or whatever, but yeah. Basically, at the end of part 2, you kind of thought that was going to be it, because he got kind of I think he got an axe to the head. And somehow he gets up again in part 3, and he's in the first couple of movies he's in, he's kind of like a superhuman mortal. I mean, from what I've read, he's killable at that point, but, not really, I guess. In part 3, he gets up and, kills everybody again. And in this one, it's not till towards the end that he becomes the Jason that everybody knows. He gets the hockey mask, and it's like he's finally an iconic horror character. Yeah, I didn't watch it in 3D, even though I'd love to watch it in 3D. And it'd be nice to go to see that in a big theater with people, with 3D glass and everything. Those are the kind of movies I want to see in 3D, not stupid crap. No. But yeah, because I could tell by the 3D, it's like there's some great scenes where one scene where a guy's like throwing a yo-yo at the it's like and certain things just look really cheesy in 3D, but it looked like it'd be a fun 3D to enjoy. And then yeah, basically he kills people and blah 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 blah, and they think they got him in the end. What happened in part 4? Just some of these just kind of blend together for me now. But part 4, I'm trying to think of what happened in part 4. Oh, this time in part 4 kind of had some stars before they were stars. You had Crispin Glover in it, and you had Crispin Glover in a role that was like nothing that you've ever really seen him in. He was kind of like though one of the descriptions I read on Netflix was he's a stud in training or something. I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's just a lovelorn guy. Kind of he just got dumped, and his friends are kind of making fun of him for it. But yeah, you have Crispin Glover, you have Corey Feldman in it, and then you also have the kid from The Last American Virgin in it too. And he's kind of like he's kind of a dork, or he's trying to get laid the whole movie, and doesn't happen. He got more action in The Last American Virgin, ironically, but yeah. Let me see. I cannot remember all those details, but it just ended with Corey Feldman's character just losing it because he saw all these dead bodies and everything, and he just goes crazy and kills Jason, and he goes nuts. And again, I'm spoiling all these movies. I'm sorry, but I gotta just get it out because it was just crazy. It's just like this. Oh, and the funny thing about Corey Feldman's character is he has a bowl cut, which just kind of cracks me up. But yeah, he was great in it. It was a good movie, even though it's not the third one. The third one was my favorite, but then I got to part 6. Because I skipped part 5 because I heard it's just about Corey Feldman's character, and only he wasn't in it much because of Goonies. So he was mostly doing Goonies at the time. So he couldn't really be in it. But yeah, and then I got to part 6, and again it was about Corey Feldman's character all grown up, and how he was in a mental institution because by the end of the movie, he hugs his sister and everything, but you kind of see a glint in his eyes, like I'm crazy, or I'm not all there. And so in part 6, you find out he was in a mental institution, and he comes back to Crystal Lake and he unearths Jason because he wants to burn his body and everything. But in unearthing him, he sticks some kind of metal thing in him to try to kill him forever, and then lightning strikes it and brings him back to life. So we have like a zombie Jason, and he was already kind of unkillable before that. So now he's just kind of a superhuman zombie guy. And yeah, it was fun. I liked part 6 a lot because it had a sense of humor. It had that meta humor that you find in Scream, and this came before that, obviously. And I like meta humor. I like self-referential humor. And you get a lot of that in part 6. I liked it. It was goofy without being too goofy. It wasn't like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies where it was really lame quips from Freddy. But yeah, you gotta love Jason because he doesn't talk. Him and Michael Myers, they don't talk, so that it makes them really creepy. God, I'm just trying to think of all the things I could talk about part 6. Part 6 was just a lot of fun to watch, basically, and, yeah. Oh, and part 4, the funny thing about part 4 is it was called the final chapter. So it's like, yeah, no. Because there's like a ton of other movies after that. So anyways, by part 6 was called Jason Lives. And yeah, he does. Even I think at the end you're supposed to kind of think he died, but I don't remember. I can't remember. Some of these kind of blend together. Even I watched it last night. I watched part 6 last night. I watched part 4 and 6 last night, actually. And I liked them both for very different reasons. But I think part 6 and part 3 are my 2 big favorites of this franchise so far. I've heard parts. I can't wait to watch part 7 because I'm breaking this up for you guys, so I don't have to talk about all the movies at once. So I will talk about parts 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe I'm not. I don't know if I'll mention Freddy vs. Jason again because I already talked about it. But yeah, I'll do the next like 4 movies, next 4 movies at a later time, and I may even watch part 5 for you guys. I don't know. Mostly, I just want to talk about these first ones. Oh, and for the few people who wanted me to watch Joe vs. Volcano, I tried, but it just I had a headache and I just couldn't watch it all. And I only watched like 9 minutes of it, and I got kind of I don't know. I think it was just a headache. I don't know if I'm gonna try to watch it again. I don't know. I might. I have other movies I want to talk about though. But yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to talk about the Friday the 13th movie. I kind of have a couple more I want to talk about, but I might just make that for another episode. Or maybe not at all. But I do have another movie coming up that I want to watch that I'll talk about with you guys called Extro. Better from the library. I mean, a friend, I don't know much about it, but the box makes me want to watch, even though it kind of is gross, but I don't know. But yeah, Extra. I will be watching this next for you guys, or maybe, for myself too. I got it from the library. Always looking for crazy stuff from the library or on Netflix, and yeah. That's basically it. So yeah, until next time.